Hey guys, me and Enrique today, my assistant, are going to explain to you one of the best ways that you can get girls. Okay, now this isn't a video on attracting women. This is not a video on meeting women either. I've gone over those topics many times. I'll put some examples in the description below. If you don't know how to even have a girl attracted to you, which is one of the base necessary components, right? She has to be somewhat attracted to you, like a certain threshold of attraction before you can go anywhere with her, because of course. Then you have to obviously meet her, right? M, attraction, meeting. Then once those are there, you're gonna have certain points of opportunity where you can take it forward and get with her. What I mean is sex, the final goal, okay? To actually get with her. And there's gonna be roadblocks along the way, and you gotta find when you can jump to the next window. I probably could have illustrated this a little bit more beautifully, but I'm not an artist. I'm a guy who knows how to fuck girls. The secret to getting girls is mostly here. Whereas most other coaches and teachers, they focus so much on this because it's a very attractive, easy topic. But you can have all of this and fuck up somewhere along here and you're done, okay? Because I've seen guys who are good looking, who are tall, who are ripped, blah, blah, blah. They'll get tons of these. No one is denying that good looks, being tall, being popular, being rich, whatever, these things can attract women, okay? And occasionally it'll pull you a lot of the way, but very rarely is it just gonna be like, oh, okay, I open my legs for you. She might think that, she might want to fuck that guy just because of how he looks, right? And how she feels around him. But it's a very different thing for a girl to be attracted to you and to actually have sex with you. And people who don't understand that don't have any actual experience with women, because guys who do have experience have seen that if they're good looking or hot or whatever, that a girl was attractive for 1 second and then she wasn't. Or they are around someone who was macking on a girl and she was into it and then another second she wasn't. Because if all that mattered was being attracted to you, then every time she had a desire to fuck a guy, she would fuck a guy. And that is not reality. And anyone who thinks that way needs to get the fuck outside and touch some goddamn grass, okay? So, the secret is the windows. Most of what we call game is just hitting these windows at the right time. And a guy who doesn't get as much attraction with her is gonna actually you have to meet her at some point. You can't just skip that part and just teleport into her pussy, okay? You're gonna have to meet her. But a lot of this attraction, so if I had to make these balls different sizes, I would actually make attraction like a smaller ball, right? And the meeting a bigger one because it's super necessary, right? Elephantitis testicle. But you definitely have to hit these windows because if you don't, you're never gonna make any progress. You're gonna be stuck in the balls and you don't wanna be stuck in the balls. You want your guys to make it all the way out to the extraction zone where Enrique goes home. Okay, so what are these windows of opportunity? What do they look like? How can I know that they're there? How can I know when to take the next step? Okay, I'll go over that in just a second, but you really need to understand these few things before we do, because you fucking do. So, windows of opportunity. We used to call them escalation windows, and I still do, but it's a very nerdy term. Escalate on her. It doesn't have good PR, okay? So windows of opportunity is a little bit more understandable, but if you've heard of escalation windows, okay, it's the same thing. All right. So first of all, you need to understand, if you miss it, you're gonna lose progress. A lot of guys have the wrong mentality that, okay, a girl likes me, we went out, maybe we even kissed. And then, I went home, she went home, it was a great date. And then I text her and she doesn't respond. And you're like, what the fuck? Then maybe she responds like a couple days later, hey, what's up? She's talking to me, but now she's actually less attracted and you're confused because in your mind, when you reach a certain point with a girl, let's say like you kissed her, right? You reached here. You think that once you reach here, you have that's supposed to be a lock. I don't know, that doesn't look like a lock at all, like a padlock. But so you think that once you're here, you're locked at this level, like you've saved your progress, okay? And you can't go down, right? No, talking to girls is not it's a linear path, but it has not very linear progression. Actually, sometimes you can fucking go like zoop, or you can actually go zoop, right? You meet a girl at a club, you're talking to her, you don't get her number, you don't ask her out, you don't go on a date, you just start kissing her, making out with her, grabbing her ass, and you take her to the bathroom and you raw dog her in the bathroom. Not the smartest thing to do, but it does happen, okay? So don't think of this as always linear progression. And don't think that you're gonna save your progress like a video game. A girl can be right at the edge of having sex with you, and then it doesn't happen for whatever reason. She's on her period, she doesn't feel like it, you came off too needy, there's another guy that she likes and he thought about him in that last moment and then decided not to have sex with you. Could be a bunch of different things, right? And she doesn't have sex with you, she might never see you again because she feels like, we had a connection, but then we didn't. Maybe there really isn't something there. If I see him again, I'm probably gonna have sex with him, and you know what? Let's just not do it. He has expectations now, blah, blah, blah. He was kind of a fuckboy, whatever. You don't log progress. It is like Chutes and Ladders. It's like this board game. Snakes and Ladders is another way to think about it. Like you would go all through the board game, and then you take, you roll the dice and you go here, but right here is a chute or a slide, and you go all the way back down to the bottom. That's how you need to think about talking to girls, okay? And the thing is, girls will actually give you these windows, and if you miss them, they're gonna feel like, I was feeling it for a second, and then my desire wasn't satisfied. They're not like thinking, I'm gonna give him a escalation window, and if he doesn't pass it in 5 seconds, right? They'll just be like, okay, I'm kind of feeling, let's say she's on a date with you, and you're having a good time, you're enjoying the date, and she really seems to like you, you really seem to like her, and you really want to fuck her, because obviously that's your goal. I don't care who the fuck you are. Even if you want a girlfriend or a wife, you're gonna still have sex with her, okay? So let's not pretend that we're here, just to build bonds. We're also here to put Enrique inside of the hole. Okay, this is Enrique, by the way, if I haven't already introduced him. So you want to smash, but you're playing it cool, you don't want to rush things, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's say that she's actually feeling that with you. She's kind of feeling a little frisky. And so you're having a conversation, then all of a sudden she kind of starts to quiet down, kind of starts to get distracted. She'll look at you and kind of smile, and you'll look back and kind of awkwardly smile like, haha, yeah. And you start asking questions. She's like, yeah, okay, kind of giving you not super invested answers. And you start to think that, you know what, she's maybe not that interested, fuck, what did I do wrong? Maybe I need to tell a joke. Maybe I need to, switch dates. Maybe I got to entertain her. Maybe let's go here, go there. You probably read that wrong. Now, I'm not saying every time a girl gets quiet and stops investing in the conversation, she's wants to go home with you, okay? I'm just saying in this particular situation, that might actually be the case. Everything is good. There's no very clear indication of why she would suddenly lose interest, but she starts getting quiet and not investing as much as she was. Probably what's happening is in her mind, this is how she kind of goes through it. She's really liking you, and then she starts to think like, oh, I really like him. Like, I don't know, he's kind of looking good tonight. Maybe she knows she's ovulating, or she's just fucking wet. Her pussy starts tingling, and she starts getting all hot and nervous, and she starts thinking about sex. Well, she's gonna start to get kind of nervous, and she's gonna, be like, oh my God, come on, Sarah, stop thinking bad thoughts, whatever, right? And then you're gonna misinterpret it, and you're gonna do this, this, and this, but really what she was sub-communicating, or sometimes girls are a lot more conscious than you think they are, okay? And girls watching this, you're not sneaky, I'm not retarded, I know how you work, okay? A lot of times girls are far more conscious than you think they are, okay? They're not necessarily making a fucking diagram, okay? But they are pretty understanding of how they feel at that moment. So she might think, okay, well, we're having a nice conversation, but maybe I should kind of get quiet. He'll get the hint, right? He'll get the hint. That's what girls usually how they phrase it. He gets the hint, okay? It's either a negative thing or a positive thing. In this case, we're looking for positive hints. So she gives the hint by stop talking, right? Because I want to go home, so I'm going to stop talking because I'm tired of talking. I want to suck some dick, right? Now, the male brain thinks, well, why doesn't she just tell me? Why don't girls just tell guys how they feel? Do you just want to have sex? Why can't they just be so straightforward? Why does it have to be so difficult? Because fuck you, that's why. That's it. Fuck you. That's just how girls work. And if you don't like it, go be gay, okay? Go suck some dick. Or, be a top, whatever. You're still going to probably suck dick at the end of the day, though. So she's going to be feeling that, and you're going to miss that window, and you're going to lose progress. Your save file is going to get deleted, or you're going to get pushed back. But a lot of times it just gets deleted. And any guy who's dated enough girls knows this. Everything can be great. You don't know what happened, and she's gone. But there wasn't really anything you did wrong. You didn't insult her. You didn't do anything weird. It was just great, and then it kind of started to slow down, and then it was gone. What the fuck happened? There was a window of opportunity, and you did not take it. One of these doors opened up, and you should have rushed through, but because you wanted to play it safe, because you're a fucking pussy, because you don't understand how girls work, you don't know that a lot of them have inside of them a raging core that wants to get bent over and disrespected. It could be a lot of different things, okay? So these windows can come faster than you think. Like I said, dude, you can meet a chick and she's ready to fuck you. I fucked a chick in like 30 seconds, okay, before. I was at a party and I was supposed to meet her. I was supposed to get introduced by another girl who was a friend of mine in college. I was like a sophomore? Yeah. And she's like, hey, I have this friend. I think you guys would really get along. But she was kind of like, wink, wink. I think you guys would have fun. And I was like, okay, cool. She's going to come to the party tonight? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm at the party. I'm drinking, whatever. And then at some point, I'm walking, and this little Asian girl comes up to me, and she's like, hey, are you Hector? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, my name is blank, and I was supposed to meet you. And I was like, oh yeah, Sam wanted to introduce us, right? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh cool, nice to meet you. And we kind of gave each other that look. I was a little drunk, she was a little drunk, kind of pulled her in, started making out. I was like, all right, let's just fucking do it. Grab her hand, bring her to the room. She's like, okay, da-da-da-da. We get in the room, and she said something like, hey, just to be clear, this is just for fun, don't catch any feelings. I'm like, such a stupid thing to say, I literally just met you, why the fuck would I catch feelings? But I guess guys do catch feelings for girls who give them quick sex because they're kind of inexperienced or they're just romantic people. But I was very understanding, like, no, we're just gonna smash. So we smashed, had fun, so fucked in 30 seconds, right? Now, there were some things that built up to that, right? But I've also fucked girls that I didn't have any like arranged meeting with very, very quickly, okay? Couple minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, it's happened a lot. Now, it depends, mostly, once you have that level of attraction and you meet her, you see all of these windows are open. But you're gonna think, no, it's too slow. Like, no way it can come that fast. No fucking way. Like, she's too hot, or, you know, I'm such a loser. It could be insecurity. It could be that you think she's out of your league. What the fuck ever it is, okay? Or girls aren't like that. You know, I'm sure someone watching this video is like, girls aren't like that, bam, bam, bam. Okay, well, my Enrique says different because he's been there. Okay, so the windows are open and you fucking go for it. They come faster than you think. I've elaborated too much. So, they also leave very fast. So they come fast and they leave fast, just like me. Okay, so, not really. I usually actually last a decent amount of time, but sometimes you do bust fast, okay? Especially when the girl's really fucking hot. And you should never feel guilty about it. Just allow the refraction period, the period where you're ready to go again, happen, and then go at it again. If you act embarrassed, then she's gonna feel weird. But most of the time, actually, a lot of girls find it to be a compliment. And actually, when you lose an erection and you feel like nervous and insecure, they actually think it's them. They think that they did something wrong because you're not attracted to them. They don't really think so much that you're a loser. Maybe sometimes they might. Most of the time, they think it's them, okay? So whether you can't get hard or you come too fast, just do it and then go second round. Usually you'll last longer, okay? The fuck was I? Oh yeah, these windows will come fast and they'll leave fast. And so you need to be prepared to look out for them. Well, Hector, what the fuck do they look like? Get to the fucking point. I hate those comments. Fuck you, okay? I doubt any guy who's ever commented that actually is good with girls. Just get to the point already. Yeah. It's free content.
It's free real estate.
Listen, all right. And they're not always obvious, right? So that's kind of, sometimes it's hard to tell you what these windows of opportunity look like, okay? So with that dating scenario, it was her getting quiet. But there was other signals there, right? So just because a girl stops talking doesn't mean, oh, she wants to have sex with me. This guy in the retard on YouTube told me she's not talking anymore. So, hey, you want to come back home and slap on my knob? Yeah, sure. No, sometimes it just means she's not interested or she's bored or she's annoyed, okay? But you got to look at the context clues, okay? So what are some context clues? She's on a date with me, everything's going well, then she kind of starts to get quiet, kind of distracted, but every time I look at her, she smiles and goes, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, good signs, and the only like questionable sign is she's starting to kind of pull back. It's probably an escalation window. She wants me to take it a step forward, and she wants me to kiss her, okay? Well, let's say you're having a walk after the date, and she's walking, and you're talking, and she kind of starts to get quiet, and she kind of gets closer to you, right? It could be very subtle, just like a step, you know, and she kind of bumps into you, that she wants to kiss you, okay? I remember once I was on a date with a girl in Sweden, and we were taking a walk, and I saw some statue, And I was like, oh, this is cool. She's like, yeah, it's so cool. And she was next to me, and then she stepped in front of me, and then like turned, and it was right in front of me, and it was looking like this. And I was like, okay, you went from here to here, and now you're really close. Obviously, you want to kiss me, right? But it's not always so obvious, and you can misinterpret it if you don't see all the context clues. Like I said, so the girl on the date, God, I'm so manic, holy shit. One second, let me calm down. So many thoughts going through my head. Okay. You're on a date with her, and she's starting to pull back, but you can also see that on her face, she's a little bit annoyed. She's kind of looks bored, right? She was all like this, and then you kind of see her go like this, and yeah, yeah, okay. Now she's probably just losing interest because you started talking about boring shit. You said something offensive, something you said annoyed her. Maybe she just randomly had a memory. Maybe it doesn't have anything to you. Maybe you just accidentally triggered some negative memory of hers and she's a very anxious person and blah, blah, blah. It's totally possible, okay? But then you misread it and think, oh, she wants to go home with me. But then, I'm gonna piss some people off here. Sometimes when girls are horny, now what happens when you get horny? You're horny, right? But have you ever been so horny that you're frustrated? That you're kind of a little bit angry, okay? Sometimes girls who are bitchy and annoyed, sometimes they're horny because they really want to fuck and no one's fucking them, and you're on a date and she's starting to think things are going well, and then you're not being as aggressive as she kind of wants you to be deep down. Well, she should just fucking tell me. No, you should learn how to read signals. And she starts to get annoyed and angry. Now, I'm not saying just because a girl gets annoyed and angry with you, she wants to have sex with you. I'm just saying it's a possibility, okay? But we're not gonna go into too much detail. I just said that for the sake of OCD because I have to give you every fucking detail because that's my personality. What are some other ones? So they're gonna happen here, right? So when to ask a girl out. So you met her and you're talking to her. Let's say, she said, I'm waiting for a friend. Oh yeah, I'm just waiting for a friend. Okay, there's a window. She's gonna have to leave soon. I should ask her out right now. My train's gonna be arriving soon. You're at a bar or a club and she's like, yeah, my friends are supposed to come pick me up, blah, blah, blah. Now you don't always need to actually do this. Sometimes you can be like, hey, just stick with me, let's go on an adventure. Like you can have some game and push things forward, okay? But usually, or there's just an awkward silence. You meet a girl, let's say you meet her during the day and you watched my course, Meet Girls Everywhere, in the description below. And you learned how to walk up to girls just on the street. Hey, excuse me, I thought you were really cute. I want to come say hi, right? And then you have a basic conversation and you make her feel comfortable and you have some good fundamentals and she's attracted to you. And then you reach a certain point in the conversation, you ask her out, right? But you got to see the course to get that one, okay? I'll leave that one for the course, the actual escalation windows and when to do it. Texting and logistics. Now I do have a book and I could say you have to go read that too, which it's in the description below if you want it. It's really cheap, but I will give you some. So with texting, kind of one is actually similar to the example with the date, okay? Where you're texting a girl and the conversation starts to die. Like you feel like, hey, it's nice meeting you. So, how's the rest of your day going? Oh, it's going pretty good. How about you? Oh yeah, I just went to the gym and just finished up. Oh, cool. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going to meet a friend for dinner. Oh, awesome. That sounds cool. Right? And then you could take it forward. You could be like, oh, so what do you do for a living? Or you said you were a real estate agent or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Da, da, da. You can continue it. But at some point, either right there where you feel like we have to change topics right now, or you do change topics and then that topic also finishes and it's like, okay, we've exchanged, a good 10, 15, 20 texts, right? Both me and her together. And the end of this thread is happening. Okay, this is a good opportunity to say, hey, so that coffee that I was talking about, when would you be free to meet up, right? That's a window where there wasn't much else to talk about, so it was a perfect place to transition to taking the next step. Whereas sometimes I've seen guys, and I've done it myself, you're texting a girl and you're in the middle of a cool conversation and you get so excited because you're having a great time talking to her and you're like, when do you want to hang out? You want to hang out sometime? Like, you want to grab a coffee? And it just doesn't feel right. Maybe she was actually interested in having that date with you because she did say yes to the date, and she texts you back and is having a conversation with you, but because you kind of rushed it, you tried to just slam through the window and you break the glass, and then you get blood on your hand, where instead you could have just waited for her to go, Hey, I'm ready for you to take the next step forward. Bring Enrique. And you go through that window, okay? And then you actually get on the date, and then the date itself is usually a lot of patience and waiting for the right moment to open up, to kiss her, to touch her, to ask her home, okay? Because a date is a very complicated thing. You're gonna be spending, 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours having a very in-depth conversation with her. She's gonna be able to see who you really are. It's very hard to fake a personality over a date. I mean, it is possible to put on your best foot, put your best foot forward. Yeah, that's the fucking phrase. And people can, put on their best face too, but usually there's gonna be signs that someone is not quite who they're trying to project themselves to be, because everyone has an image of who they wanna be. But if you sit down with someone and really talk to them for a couple hours, they'll show signs. Some people are really good at putting on a face, and that's why certain guys the women don't really have a problem with guys who think like this. What they have a problem with are the guys who make it seem like they want something serious and put on that act and then have sex with them under the pretense that something serious is gonna happen, and then they don't follow up. That's the fuckboys that girls actually get mad at. But the guys who are like, I'll build a connection with you and be romantic even, but it's very, very clear from the way I act that I want sex, or even am upfront about it. They don't have a problem with that, right? But usually a girl is going to weed out most of the fakers and most of what she doesn't want. Let's say she is in a fuckboy phase, and so you're kind of a boyfriend candidate. Well, she doesn't want you right now. Or she is looking for a boyfriend right now and you're kind of a fuckboy. Well, unless you're like an exemplary cock that she can make an exception for, then she's gonna be like, yeah, I'm not in that phase right now in my life. And so she's gonna get that from your lifestyle, the way you talk to her, if you're trying to make the moves and be too smooth, blah, 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 blah. But at some point on this big window, it's gonna open a little bit and you're gonna have an opportunity to touch her. Let's say, you're sitting next to her having coffee, and when she first sits down, she's facing away from you. She's kind of poised and formal and yeah, okay, yeah. But then you start to see at some point in the conversation, there will be, if you're really good at paying attention, there will be a boop moment. You're talking to her, you're giving her your full attention, or if you're kind of playing a little bit more cool, like you're opening a little bit, then not opening a little bit, you're knocking on the window, like, hey, you ready? Hey, you ready? Hey, you ready? Non-verbally with your body language. Then at some point, you're gonna say something kind of smooth, you're gonna wink at her, you're gonna smile, you're gonna be telling a story, and she's gonna get engrossed in it. Could be a bunch of different things. And she's gonna go from here to, yeah, and you're gonna see her open up, literally open up her body language. A window has opened. What do? You take a step forward. Okay, good seducers, honestly, when they're given an inch, they try to take a couple inches. Not a mile, because that's rude, right? But we're a bit assertive. If you give us an inch, we're gonna go for like 5 or 6 inches, okay? And then if we've gone too far, we're gonna take a step back and wait till you're comfortable. That's our game, okay? So she opens up. I know, I'm paying attention because I'm watching her, right? Because I'm interested in her. Okay, yes, I want to bend her over and fuck her silly, but I'm also interested in who she is as a person, because that makes it fun and that makes it interesting. And also, if you want to have sex with a girl, you need to build a bond with her, okay? But it's very clear I'm very sexual, and I'm gonna show her that because as she's talking to me, I'm gonna see that opening and I'm gonna go, okay. And I'm gonna say something next, and I'm gonna put a hand on her thigh for just a second. Just a little test, right? I'm not going too far. I'm not grabbing her by the pussy. I'm just like a boop. And she's gonna totally just be the same she was. Open, smiling, right? Because if she wasn't comfortable, I would have done that and she would have been like, okay, and kind of gotten a little bit more cold, right? But I did that and she was cool. All right, I'm gonna try it again. A couple minutes later, done, okay? Maybe 5 minutes later, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna hold my hand there on her thigh, right? Not too high, just, somewhere pretty, PG-13. And I'm gonna hold it there. And she's gonna keep having her same, yeah, okay, yeah, blah, 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 da, 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 da. She knows my hand's there, okay? She's not a fucking quadriplegic. She's not fucking paralyzed. She can feel my hand there, okay? She's cool with it, great. We've reached here. okay? Or her hand, or her elbow while you're talking, right? The thing that a lot of people do kind of subconsciously when you're having a conversation, oh yeah, blah, 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 right? Those are safe places. But like a hand on the thigh, it's a little bit more intimate, right? I'm going for a bigger window because I want to move things forward because that's my mentality. I want to go home. Enrique needs to go home, okay? So you can also kiss. I have a whole video on that actually. You can just look it out in the description below. It's literally just an explanation of all escalation windows, or most that I can think of, about when to kiss her. So check it out in the description below, and maybe my editor will put a thumbnail up about the video. And maybe I can even do one of those cards. Or is that end of the video? I don't know, I'm a shitty YouTuber. Okay, so now when to ask her home. Well, I already went over that. That's one example, right? There's a lot, okay? And I can't go over all of them. This video is already long enough. You probably already clicked off because you don't have patience, because you have TikTok brain rot. Lamar, last minute reservations, like, you know, maybe she's like, oh, I don't know, you know, this is kind of quick. I only just met you. And you're like, yeah, you know, we just met, but we obviously have a connection. I mean, you're straddling me in my apartment on my couch, you know, making out with me. And she's like, ha ha ha, your hands on her ass. She's like, yeah, you know, da da da. And then you go to your bed and she's like making out with you. And she's like, okay, I'll spend the night, but you know, I don't want to fuck. You're like, okay. And then, you know, you're like, all right, well, I guess this is, you know, not going to happen. So you roll over and you go to sleep. 5 minutes pass, 10 minutes pass. You obviously can't go to sleep because you're fucking horny, right? You're like, all right, I gotta get to sleep. You know, she doesn't want to smash, maybe in the morning. And then all of a sudden, she rolls over and puts her arm around you and hugs you. What is it? What is it? It's an escalation window to fuck. You roll back over and you start making out and you pull her pants off and you go in and we're home. Enrique is happy. So, escalation windows are windows of opportunity that girls will non-verbally, and sometimes verbally, sometimes a mix. You just gotta pay attention to her behavior, her body language, her facial expressions, her tonality, and her words. Very easy, right? Welcome to women, we love it. Welcome to people. We do it all the time too as men. We think that we're very straightforward, and no, you're not. You're just as emotional as women, you just kind of express it differently. Actually, most men are more emotional than women. Most women that I know personally are a little bit more mature than most men. Okay, so I think I've been pretty clear. I don't think this is too difficult to understand. Maybe it is, I don't know. All right, yeah, buy my shit in the description below. Go fuck yourself. I love you, Hector Castillo, girlschase.com. Goodbye.